as I blaze the track. This is my elk hunter's dream, a roaring truck and a wildland scene. Camouflage paint, tires built up for chasing bulls where the road gets rough. Winch up front, lights on high, cutting through the fog like an eagle's cry. Cooler full pack.
I'm going to go over my elk setup, how I came about setting it up this way, and like the alternatives if you don't have the money to spend on the stuff that I'm going to show you. I generally built this to be cost effective, so I'm not made of money, so I had to find things and ways to like build this out, and I did it over about 3 years where I got all this stuff put together. Most of it was in the last 2, but everything on the truck came in about 3 years. Most people don't have the money that influencers have to build their truck out for the ultimate like hunting setup. Most of us are like trying to find the best deals because we can't afford to spend so much money like the influencers who get given stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my setup, how I came about it, the general prices first thing, and then like alternatives for if you don't want to get that specific item. My elk setup has been tailored over frustrations, multiple different hunts. Like just every single hunt I go on, I tailor a specific thing. I tweak it a little bit to make it more effective. The things I'm looking for in my elk setup is efficiency, speed, and then mobility. So mobility is huge, and that's kind of the biggest piece of this, is just being able to stay mobile. I generally do archery elk, that's my passion, although I've hunted in later seasons with this as well. The reason you want mobility is most people coming from out of state, even most people in state, like I'm hunting different units every year. I don't think I've hunted the same unit twice so far. So what I'm looking for is being able to jump spots if I'm not finding elk. Going backpacking in sometimes can actually screw you rather than helping you when you're hunting elk in a place you haven't really been to before, because you don't know if there's elk back there. And if you commit yourself to hiking 5 miles back, then you're stuck. If you do like 1 to 2 mile hikes in the morning from a mobile camp, which is what I'm going to show you, then you're allowing yourself to be able to jump to different spots. So didn't find elk in this spot. Well, I didn't dedicate a whole day to get back there, so now I can just jump to another spot on the same day. Now I have a full day where I've hit 2 different spots. Once I find elk, then it becomes more static spot, but I have a mobile setup so I can jump from place to place. And then even within one spot, I might want to hit a different access point, depending on where I'm finding elk in that spot. So I'm going to go over from front to back, top to bottom. I'm going to start with the exterior, and then I'll work into the interior of everything I've added to my truck for the elk setup. I haven't done a whole lot of modifications to my truck. The only true modifications I added a skid plate in the front under the engine, and then I added airbags in the back because I have a lot of ways in the back. So airbags are on Amazon for like $300. They just basically add a little bit of suspension height and just help out the rear suspension a little bit. I have a stock suspension on here. I have aftermarket tires because I had to switch tires anyway, so I put more dirt ready, off-road ready tires on there. But pretty much everything else is stock on this Tacoma. It's just a normal SR. It's not even the off-road model, but I've done some pretty aggressive stuff with this truck. So starting from the front, I got this skid plate on the front. There's nothing fancy. There's no suspension or anything added to the front of the truck. Coming back, I've got a roof rack that on the cab. I barely ever use it. The only things I add to it is I got this like shower thing on Amazon, like this aluminum shower from China. It was like a couple $100, but it pressurizes with an air tire inflator, and I put that on that. That's the only thing I really put on the front roof rack. Coming back, I have the Rooftop tent. This is an Amazon find as well. This is a hard shell. I've moved to a hard shell from a soft shell tent, and number one was gas mileage. It was destroying my gas mileage to use the soft shell that folds onto itself. It's like 18 inches, 20 inches tall. It's got the ladder on top of it. It's just this gigantic block. And sitting on top of my truck, I was getting like horrible gas mileage. So I was like, I'm gonna sell this and try to get something different. So I sold it, and I bought this for about the same price I sold it for. This is a Sanhema Hotham Light tent. It's the shortest tent I could possibly find. It's pretty small, so if you're over like 6 foot, you're gonna be a little crammed. It fits 2 people comfortably if they're under 6 foot. But it's a shorter base, and then you've got the angle of it, so your feet will touch if you're taller than 6 foot. It takes me like 30 seconds from the moment I park to setting this up. It's pretty legit. So it also doesn't affect my gas mileage that much. If I'm going like 70 miles an hour down the highway, and let's say it's flat, I get like 20 miles to the gallon, maybe even a little more. If I'm going like 80, it starts to creep down towards the 18 mark. But I get almost the same gas mileage I do without it with this tent on. It's only 5 inches tall. It's aluminum shell, and then it's on Amazon. And if you wait till they have a deal, I got it for like just over like $50 over $1,000. So it's about $1,050. And then I added the 3-year protection plan to it for like another $100. Because why not? If I break it or it flies off or hit a tree with it or something, it's completely covered for that stuff. So all in all, this was probably $1,300 after tax. I think is like $1,277. Not too bad for a rooftop tent. I think it's an Australian brand, but I'm sure some components or all of it is made in China. But so far, it's held up great. It works great. I like everything about it. It's small, it's quick, and it's just a great tent. Moving down from there, I put the fast detach like rooftop tent clips from Front Runner on there. They're like $140. Reason being, I do construction for work, and I need to pop that tent off to throw lumber and stuff on top, or sheetrock or whatever. So I can pop that tent off pretty quick, and I just hang it up in my garage from the ceiling. They just clip off, and then they got little locks on them too. But you can just also attach it right to the crossbars. So going down from there, I've got the Overland Vehicle Systems topper. A topper is pretty much a non-negotiable if you've got a Tacoma and you're going out west. The reason being is if you want to hunt or if you want to camp in the back of your truck, you don't even need the tent. You got a 6-foot bed or a bigger truck than a Tacoma, you can sleep right in the back. You could take a cooler out and then just throw your sleeping pad down and sleep in the back. Save yourself $1,000. My truck bed's way too short to do that. I've got the 5-foot. I've tried sleeping in it. I have to sleep diagonally. It just didn't work out. So I got this Overland Vehicle Systems Expedition truck cap. This was like $2,300 after all said and done. I can fit everything I need to fit in here. All right, back seat organization. So back here, I've removed the back seats. I put in a piece of plywood with actually some gym mats on it to create myself a little platform. That adds space. It's more conducive to what I'm trying to do with the back seat back here. This is where I keep my packs. Right here. Take my pack out. And then I just keep a little box. This is where I'll keep my clothes or extra gear or whatever. I'll have my clothes bag or that box back here with my clothes. Got my trekking pole back here. My extra arrows will sit back here. Alright, so this is the single most underrated piece of bow hunting equipment for your vehicle, like, of all time. They're these little hooks. You can get them on Amazon. They're $9. They're just a little, like, metal piece of wire or whatever wrapped in silicone that hooks right on your headrest. You could take your bow and you could hook right on it, and your bow is up out of the way, protected, and has its own like designated spot, so you're not like hitting it on anything. So I keep clothes back here. I keep all kinds of random stuff back here. I'm gonna grab the phone, come forward, and show a little bit more. So I got like a 2x4 right here to rest on this part. Inside of here, I've got vehicle recovery stuff. So I've got tire plugs. I've got jumper cables, the jack that comes with the truck, anything, tow straps, anything vehicle recovery is right there. I've got a first aid kit hanging right here. I've got trekking poles, paper towels, some lanterns, toilet paper and baby wear, it's right there. Going through here, this is a pretty important piece of gear you want in your truck. You want to have a tire inflator. I've got a torque wrench and then, torque wrench and then impact sockets back here. Out of there. We got some extra arrows just sitting here for the rage. I might use some right now. So back here, I've just got some random tool. This is one of those little lock boxes you put on a mailbox or on a door or something. I actually usually have that attached right there, so I can leave my keys at the truck and then I don't have to carry them around in the woods with me. Not lose them. I've got more toilet paper right there, and then I've got my water jug right here. So what I did is with that plywood, I just scooted some anchor points to that plywood, and then I got to put my water jug right there. I got a little bungee strap to keep it from sliding around when I go on the bumpy roads. This provides a little bit more stuff, so if you have two people with rifles, the other person can stick the rifle right there, one rifle can go right here. If you got two people with bows, you can put all your clothing bags right here, and the other person's bow can sit nicely right on top of the clothing bag. So that's how I have the front set up. Don't really have anything in addition to that in the cab. Just some random stuff from the dog. That's Jack. Say hi, Jack. And then, yeah, that's how the cab's set up. See, removing that seat just makes it so much better for storage and random stuff. You just gain all of this extra space. So moving back from there, I'll open the side wing doors here. What you'll see in here is I've got my coolers, I've got some boxes, I've got an additional water jug to the one I just showed in the front. And then we'll come over here. Come back here. I'm gonna go over each piece I've got here. So again, this is a bigger archery target than I normally bring. I usually bring like a smaller one. Go down the side. Grab the ladder for the tent. Got a side. So first cooler in here. It's a 55 quart Lifetime cooler. Lifetime has legit coolers. Coolers are coolers. If they're rated well, bear proof, whatever, you're gonna be fine. You don't need to get a special cooler. These are generally cheaper. They have them at Walmart. But this is my food cooler. I just put my like cold stuff, frozen stuff, whatever food I'm gonna eat. And then I've got two big Lifetime coolers in here as well. Right here, this is how I organize my food. We've got two of these Home Depot rigid boxes, and you could really use any box that fits. Well, one of these boxes is going to be my freeze-dried stuff. And I can fit like two people's, pretty much like, probably a full week worth of two people's 3 meals a day of freeze-dried into one of these, because they're not very big. This one, I have my random cooking ingredients. I'll have like pasta, some like oatmeal, some just random stuff. So any dry ingredients that are just like random stuff, fruit, stuff like that. So that's what goes in those things. It's just organization. So if I go into the garage and I'm about to go on a hunt, the only thing I should have to worry about is putting broadheads on my arrows, and then making sure I have like fruit, vegetables, and then the stuff that goes in the cooler. I shouldn't be thinking about my freeze-dried stock, because I'm keeping that stock year-round. Every time I use some, I got more. Put it back in here. So I'll talk coolers for a second. Big old Lifetime coolers. These are 115 quart. I have two of them. I also have this one for additional space. Big thing about coolers, for elk you want like 200, probably over 225-ish plus cooler space. I actually have So I have two 115s, so that's 230, and then I have a 55 as a backup. That's my food cooler. So I have like 285 quarts of cooler space. My 2023 bowl filled both of these 115s, and I had to use another cooler for another quarter. So what I do for these coolers, for ice, that front cooler, I will go to Costco. I'll grab the like 40 water bottle pack. I'll grab 2 of those. I'll deep freeze them in a chest freezer. Freezer should be empty because I ate all the meat from last year. So I'll deep freeze those. I'll stick most of the water bottles in there, and then I'll stick the other frozen water bottles into this one. Water bottles are like the best way to do it. You can reuse them multiple times. They're dirt cheap. I think a 40 pack is like $5 at Costco, which is cheaper than regular ice from a gas station. So that pre-chills that cooler. It stays frozen forever because it's like all those bottles are condensed together. And then when I shoot something, I can put a layer of water bottles on the bottom, put the meat down, put a layer of water bottles, meat, water bottles, frozen water bottles. What that does is if any of the meat leaks and there's like water in the bottom, it gives me like a couple inches where that water will sit before it actually contacts the meat, and then my meat stays dry, it stays up out of that water. Next thing I'm gonna go over is the drawers. So I'm gonna put these back. So, drawers, next piece of it. I built these drawers myself. The material was about $800. Most of the material cost was in these slides that are on the side. Here, I'll move this so you can see it a little better. These slides on the side. These things were expensive. I don't know why, but they're rated to 500 pounds. So, as you can see, these drawers are pretty darn sturdy. You can actually freaking stand on them. But I'm pretty confident in these drawers. They're rated to 500 pounds each drawer. So I'm pulling these out. This is made of maple 3/4 inch plywood. The bottom is made out of 1/2 inch OSB, and then the top is 3/4 inch plywood. What I did is on the sides, I reinforced it. I've got I think it's a 2x10 that I ripped down to the appropriate width. I made my tolerances super tight on these because I have such a small bed and I wanted to maximize all the space I possibly could. So, got 1/2 inch OSB, 2x10s that I ripped down to the exact height I wanted. And it was because I had a different topper before, I made it a little shorter so that I could fit my cooler in. I had a 1/2 inch clearance of my cooler sitting on top of here to slide it into the back from hitting the topper. Now I've got way more space. As you can see, I've got quite a bit of space with this. These steel caps are nice just for that because they give you a ton of space. OSB on the bottom. I painted it with like a heavy outdoor deck paint, and then I sealed all of the edges with that Flex Seal spray, so it's super waterproof. The Tacoma has like little ridges in the tailgate anyway, so it's out up above. If any water got underneath there, it probably wouldn't be sitting against the wood. But I just wanted the extra protection. There's 3 holes in the front of a Tacoma bed. And I sent screws up into the front 2x10 through those holes. So it's anchored in the front, and then I've got these turnbuckles in the back, anchoring it in the back. On the sides, I've made like little flaps, latching flap. This video is not really about the drawers, but I made these like little matching, on each side there's like a flap that fills the space, and I can throw ratchet straps, and I got some chairs and but just random stuff, so I'm not wasting space there. The whole thing's zeroed out, so the bed is all flat up to the front, and then I just water sealed everything like super good. Tacomas are not water sealed or dust sealed, so you have to go trial and error, run it through the car wash a million times, and keep adding like plumber's putty and then just random seals at random places. I think I finally got it to where like barely any dust gets in. No water gets in, but there's just like an occasional dust if it's a really dusty trail. So I'm not going to talk more about the drawers build themselves because that's a different topic, but I'm going to talk about how these are organized because anyone can benefit from the organization and just the general like, what I put into these. The top, you're going to want to stay open. down a bit of a hill. Work, I run the Rigid brand batteries for all my tools, and pretty much every brand has this, so if you have run a different brand for your work power tools or your home power tools, they make an adapter for a battery charger. So with this adapter I can plug in like phones, my Zoleo, my satellite messenger, my battery packs, and then I can charge them at camp when I'm going to bed, which is super nice. So I've got a bunch of batteries right there. So that's how my drawers are laid out. Again, organization leads to efficiency, and efficiency leads to speed, and then speed lends to that mobility piece of it. All right, so I'm gonna go over the tent next. This is the third try I've done this. So I just pop these latches. These are locking latches. I'll push it up, let it kind of self-raise. I grab these little poles, slide them into their slots. There's a little grommet right here. I stick it on there. Grab the other one, stick it on there, and boom, it's set up. So this is like set up enough that I can go to sleep, and I actually can climb up on the back without a ladder. But I'll grab the ladder just so you can see it. There's attachments on the front. There's attachments for the ladder on the front, back, and or on the left, right, and front. There's attachments for the ladder. So the ladder comes with the tent. I'll take this. I'll take it here. I would just hook it right there. Boom. I'm completely set up. I can go to bed. I keep my sleeping bag in there. It's a down bag. It's the Stone Glacier Chilkoot 0 degree. It's a little bit of an expensive bag, but it keeps me warm no matter what temperature I'm in. I sleep colder, so I use a colder bag all year round. There's a little shoe bag that comes with this as well. You can just slide that into this little slot right here. And then when you climb up, you can set your boots in there. I'll just show you. Climb up the ladder. And even get out of the rain right now. It's just started raining. Climb up the ladder. Take a seat right here. Pop my boots off. I like to stick them upside down. It has a little vent on the bottom so they can dry out. Pop my boots off. Cover the rain flap on it so my boots don't get wet. I can buckle it, I'm not going to. But then I'm in here and I can go to bed. Being able to go to bed that quick is like really nice, especially when you're tired and you just want to go to bed. You've been hiking around all day and you're just done. So I keep my sleeping bag in here. I actually have a little slot. I keep my pillow in here too. I just have a little travel pillow. But I can be to bed in like less than a minute, which is just, if you don't know, it's very nice. So I'm gonna close this guy up. And then get out. So now I'll talk about closing it up. It takes slightly longer than setting it up, but put the ladder back. Take this guy, put it in the bag. This, the shoe bag here. This guy. Stick it in there with the ladder. Shut that ladder. And then I come up here. It actually comes with a little pouch to stick these tools in. So, as you can see, they treated it pretty well with water repellent, so the water just And it flicks right off of it. We're gonna take this, slide it in here. I don't know if you can see that, but the water is just beating right up in the light rain that we're having right now. Okay, there's a little cord right here. This is gonna suck in the sides so we don't get stuck. Pull this down. As it's descending, I just kind of pull the insides in on the right and left so they don't get trapped in the closing edges of it. Gotta keep everything tucked in there. Put the latches down. And now we're moving. Mobility. Can't get much quicker than that. A regular tent will take forever to set up and close down. This takes seconds.